Hey everyone, it's your girl Trey Lou back in studio with Positive Vibes. First, I want to come on to say I so do apologize for being absent on Sunday Shine as well as Positive Vibes. I was out on an assignment in Atlanta for a photo shoot with Anna Bagisha and with all my team members with Anna Bagisha doing some great things in the ATL on last week. Thought I was going to be able to come on at a certain time, and because of all the events that were going on, I was not able to do so. I have coming up on the show in a little bit Marlon Weir, who is out there in Rwanda. We're going to be talking about Afrikanet, and I want you guys to come on, get engaged into what's going on because it's going to be an awesome show. He's going to talk about what he's got going on over in Rwanda, as well as the Afrikanet, Pan-African, and also just all the beautiful things over there in our motherland. So with that said, don't want to hold you long, don't want to hold this part of the broadcast long. However, I did want to apologize to you guys because I know you guys are very adamant and you're precise and you're very dedicated to to supporting Positive Vibes. However, sometimes some people know some people know. I'm sorry. All these pop-ups are coming. Some people know what other things that I do in my career. However, sometimes in the executive protection specialist business, I have to, leave out or I have to go away to other states or things like that to do other things as far as executive protection, being an executive protection specialist. But I am here today, Friday, in the studio with Positive Vibes, having great guests coming up, Marlon Weir, out in Africa, Rwanda, doing miraculous things. I want you guys to come aboard to get all this knowledge about Pan-African, or being Pan-African, as well as Afrikanet, and also all the great things that's going on with that. I want you guys to get involved, engage, get your pens, get your pencils, and also if you have questions regarding Afrikanet, I want you guys to turn this off just a little bit. I want you guys to indulge in that, and we're going to have an awesome time. I met Marlon. It hasn't been maybe over a year ago. I met Marlon on the Global Broadcast Brothers with our friend. You guys all know him all too well, Heath Bailey out of Dubai. We're going to be talking about some great things. I just want to say thank you guys for being patient with me as I, as this entrepreneurship thing just goes soaring. I'm just truly thankful for all of you guys who have come on today and who are being a part of this broadcast on today. I'm going to be bringing him on very shortly, and I'm going to be talking about Afrikanet. You guys see the beautiful flyer that was created. This is going to be on Facebook, later on YouTube, and also on my website. If you guys have yet to go to the trademanagement.com website to see all the past shows that have been on, I want you guys to go on there and look at it. Even on your off time, if you have some time that you just want to look at some positive TV, go to the website. You can see all the great shows and all the great guests that have graced Positive Vibes platform. Shout out to all those who are doing radio. Also want to visit my brothers and sisters and all those who are indulging in their own businesses at this time. This is the time to get engaged and start your own business. So with that said, let me keep it moving here. It's time to, I'm doing multiple things here, so I apologize for that. But want to make sure that you guys were involved in all this thing that Trey Lou is doing. I speak today at 6:30, which is going to be an amazing event with some women here in North Carolina. I was asked to speak, and I'm going to do it. What thus says the Lord on today, speaking with women here in North Carolina. So without further ado, I am going to get geared up to get Marlon here in the studio, here online, and I want you guys to tune in. get all this great information. And we may come on just a little bit early because he is ready. Actually, what we were doing was, before you guys, and I'll be truly transparent with you guys, he popped on and he was chewing, and I'm like, hey, Marlon, what are you chewing? He's like, peanuts. I was just getting ready to grab my peanuts, which is my go-to food in the moment, in between meals. It's also great for your body. It's protein. I'm chewing mine, he's chewing his, so I had to let mine go because we were going to be on a chewing extravaganza when it comes to peanuts. But so guys, and I know that, let me talk just real quick about the picture I posted regarding my weight loss. And this wasn't a challenge, it wasn't through surgery, it was by eating natural foods and doing natural things, by exercising, drinking plenty of water, and being positive in my journey to lose weight. I was all out, my weight was always fluctuating up and down throughout my years of life. You know, I was thin and I was heavy, and then I was down all the way up to the size 26, and I didn't have any health ailments or anything like that. However, I wasn't happy with my body. I always was trying to please other people, but it was time that I pleased myself. So at that moment, when I came to myself to love me, I went on a journey to live a more healthier lifestyle. Got in contact with Charles Harris, who is now who was then my personal trainer, now a celebrity trainer, who had taught me the fundamentals of eating healthy and also exercising. And then throughout the pandemic, we know that a lot of people have gained weight. A lot of people had to eat foods that they don't normally eat to save money. But the good news is you can start today with getting on that path of eating the right foods. And also, I'm open to indulge and also share with anyone that wants to know how our journey got started. And not only just that, how you can keep the weight off after you accomplish your goal. It's very easy. I will tell you that. And now, for those who like to lose weight swiftly, that journey was a year journey for me to accomplish that goal. Up and downs at times, because you know, with traveling, you can't always eat the things that are in your refrigerator. You have to learn how to eat on the run. And I'm not talking about eating at fast food restaurants. I'm talking about eating on the run, and also knowing what foods are good for you in different cities at different restaurants. I've eaten at plenty restaurants. I kid you not. Even some of the fast food restaurants I've eaten there too. However, I know what foods each restaurant serves that are good for my body. Now you're gonna have to see that for yourself. Now the things that are good for me may not be good for you. So I want you guys to look into the things that are good for your body, for your own self. Some people don't have to lose weight like I had to. Some people want to gain weight. Some people want to do other things. However, you have to find out what's good for you. I finally had come to the point in my life where I know what foods are good for my body, what foods are not good for my body. I know what drinks are good for my body and what drinks are not good for my body. And on top of that, celebrating 14 plus years of sobriety helps. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know that alcohol puts a lot of weight on your body, as well as a lot of alcohol, beer, those things put weight on your body as well. Now, with that said, I am going to say happy birthday to those whose birthdays it is today, and happy birthday to you, Catherine Williams. Happy birthday to you. Catherine is an artist manager, and also she does multiple things out there at ATL. I met Catherine at the City Winery at Sandra Corelli's concert, and she's a beautiful person, and she's also invited me out to some of the showcases that she has. Some of her artists are in. So, Catherine, I thank you from the top of my heart for all that you've done for me while I was in Atlanta. And happy birthday to Debbie G, one of our family members who has gone to glory. Happy birthday to you up there in heaven, Debbie G. Happy birthday to you, Amber Joy, my other niece from Mother Kim. Happy birthday to you, Amber. May today be one of the best days of your life. And also happy birthday to your daughter who had a birthday on the other day. And for those I've missed on those Fridays that I wasn't on Positive Vibes, happy birthday to you as well. And to all of the Anna Bagisha team, hello and good morning. This is Positive Vibes. We have Positive Vibes soundtrack playing in the background, getting ready to come up here and get ready to bring all my guests in at around 10:15. We'll be on talking about all the great things that's going on in Afrikanet, about Afrikanet and the new technology that you guys need to be aware of. Want you guys to want to invest, this is the perfect time to do so. And also sending a shout out to all the grandmasters who I've had the pleasure of meeting on last weekend. They all talked about their stories, talked about all their years of martial arts. So ladies and gentlemen, also, we want to talk about what's coming up in this next year, but coming up, we know that Halloween's coming up. We're going to have a guest on to talk about the revolution of Halloween, what Halloween really means and why we should not celebrate it. And I know that may be a spoiler for some, but however, if you don't know, you just don't know. But we're going to have someone on to talk about Halloween, what it means, where it came from, where it was birthed from, and what it means in this day and age. And you know what? And I'll be honest with you. I celebrated Halloween when I was younger. You know, we went out trick-or-treating and all those other things. Like, you know, we didn't know. I didn't know, but I don't. However, I don't celebrate it this, you know, now. It's been some time since I haven't. You know, it's not as fun as it used to be. You know, kids are getting injured, and you know, I actually turned away from liking Halloween back. I think it was about maybe like 15, 16, when you would go trick or treating and had to take your entire bag to the hospitals to have it scanned. Hey Jeffrey, how are you? Thank you for tuning into Positive Vibes on this morning. Just passing some time by before I bring up my special guest coming out of Rwanda, Africa, and I have dressed the part this morning. You know, sometimes you just have to dress the part. You know what? I have plans to be out there in Africa coming up in 2-3 months, depending on my assignments. However, I look forward to going out there and visiting the motherland. I've heard stories that when people go visit Africa, they come home not the same. And I'm not talking about in a negative way. I'm talking about in a positive way. Just feeling that energy, that connection to the motherland from which our ancestors came from and were birthed from. So with that said, I want you guys to keep tuned in on to the show. We're going to have a great show today. And also, I want to send this out to all independent artists. If you're looking for music, we're going to have a great session, a collaboration. I want you guys to get involved. And I want you guys to send me some of your work. You can go to my website and get my email from there. I want you to send it to me, some of your work, so I can choose the groups that I want to collaborate on a positive note with on the show. It has to be your original music. It can't be the samples of anybody else's music, any other music on that we're going to be talking about. I'll give you more information as we get closer to the time where I want to launch collaboration. It's going to be a positive movement for those that are in the industry, in the music industry, and for those ladies who have inboxed me regarding modeling, who have inboxed me regarding a lot of things that I do. We're going to have a one-on-one. I want to invite all the ladies into the room, into Positive Vibes. We're going to be talking about lady things and some of the questions that have come to me behind the scenes regarding modeling, and regarding my makeup, and regarding my hair, clothing, my attitude, my positivity, and also singleness, also sobriety, and a lot more other things we're going to be talking about. Ladies, we're going to have this one-on-one, and if you're that lady, that young lady who wants to have that one-on-one with me, feel free to inbox me. We'll have that one-on-one, and we'll keep it personal. It's not going to be live unless you want it to be. Unless you feel like your story is a story that needs to be told to others, how you got through a situation in your life and you feel like it's going to inspire someone else. And let me tell you this. If you've gone through something, it's a story to tell, because as we are on this show right now, someone else may be going through exactly what you went through, and they need help as to how to get through it. And you know what? There's been a lot of things that I've gone through that God has laid on my heart to speak about that has helped others. And today I'll be talking about some of those here in North Carolina. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, it's about 10:15. I have my guest. I'm going to come off and then bring my guest on around 10:30. But I want you guys to stay tight because we're going to have an amazing time at 10:30. We're going to be talking about Afrikanet, and that's Afrikanet. So you guys see that in the description. Get your pens, get your papers, and see how you can benefit from what he's going to talk about, and also to be connected to the motherland in such a way that's going to benefit not just you, your families, your children, and your children's children. And also, you know, in addition to all those things that I've talked about, we're going to be talking about some plays that are going to be in here in North Carolina, as well as a lot of great things. Hassan is doing very well. He's off to a great start on this school year. And I pray that your kids are off to a great start on this year too. And I pray for those who are still who are still straddling the fence about being vaccinated. With all the people that are still, you know, perishing from not being vaccinated, I think it's something that you should consider, pray that God will lead you as to what you need to do, where you need to go to get vaccinated, because we want to make sure that you're here for another year. You guys, you have to trust God. You know, a lot of people have been saying we have been vaccinated from a lot of things when we were younger, in order for us to even go to attend schools, to attend work, to do a lot of things that we do today. So I want you guys to trust God, because you know what, we do a lot of things in our lives and don't think twice about doing them. So I want you guys to trust God with what He's giving you to do. And you know what, God has blessed each and every one of us with doctors, nurses that have cared for us, not just us, but care for our children as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to trust God, because He's a God that will never fail. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Jeffrey, I thank you so much. I want you to continue to tune into the broadcast, Jeffrey. We're going to have Marlon Weir from Rwanda on the broadcast just in a little bit. I'm just coming on here to give you guys a little bit of insight as to what's going on with Positive Vibes, and also my apologies for not being front and center on last Friday and as well as on Sunday Shine. I was in travel to the ATL, and just wanted to send my sincere apologies to you guys and to let you know that Positive Vibes is moving in another direction, and also we'll be seeking possibly an assistant host for the Positive Vibes show. And if that's you, let me know. We'll talk about how we can get you to be my assistant host, as I am away from the microphone, away from the studio doing other duties. I want to try to wean someone into doing exactly what I do. If it's something that you love to do, I want you to send me a DM. And I'm not talking about just adults. I'm talking about kids in middle school, children, women and men in middle school, high school, college, what have you. However, the whole key is you have to have a positive attitude, and your state has to be positive all the way around the board. I wouldn't be able to trust it to anyone else. Positive Vibes is my baby, and we have to take it to other levels. And meeting other levels is being able to allow someone else to grow in the production of Positive Vibes, as well as all the things that I've learned in radio. So I am opening up the opportunity for someone that's in middle school, elementary school, to be a part of Positive Vibes as my assistant producer, as I am away on assignments for executive protection. And to Mark James, to all you beautiful people who have commented on the pictures with Anna Bagisha, my picture, and as well as the prayers that go out in the morning. I thank you kindly. Prayers are gifted or guided by God for every morning. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I think I've talked enough, but I really wanted to sincerely say to you guys that, I am truly sorry that I was not able to manage being on Positive Vibes on Fridays because I was in travel driving to an assignment, in the ATO, and then while at the assignment, it was too busy for me to get on like I promised you guys. However, I did get on Saturday with my blonde hair because some of you guys have liked it. It was fun. You never know what the next thing is going to be, but if you guys have a request, you never know. I'll try it. I'm open to try anything. Not anything, but let's make this fun. And it can be basically dress Trey Lou. Yeah. Don't dress me. First, you just don't dress me, but let's see what you'd like to see Trey Lou look like in the next coming shows. It can be short, it can be long, it can be all different types of styles. I'm open to doing that and having a little fun. This is Positive Vibes. Hey, it's Friday. We have to enjoy this day that God has given us. Live it to the fullest. And also love on your children. And this is the season when we're coming to bullying, taunting of kids, taunting kids. Not the season. I hate to say the season, however. Kids are in school and bullying has started. A couple of parents have talked to me regarding their child being bullied, and it could be anywhere from the type of mask that they were wearing. We have to nip that in the bud because children have taken their lives when they felt like they were being bullied or felt like they were being belittled by their friends or peers in which they thought were their friends. We have to explain to our children who's good for them and who is not for them. Not everybody is going to be your friend. I've learned that even up to this age right now where I am. Not everyone is going to be your friend. And that's okay. Because you know what? God will move good ones in. He'll move the bad ones out and he'll move the good ones in. So I want you guys to be open to new friendships, be open to new business ships, be open to sharing what you do with someone else so that they can hold on tight and you can take them for the ride that you've been on. We don't want to see anyone suffer. And my prayers go out to Haiti for the devastation that's going on in Haiti. They truly don't deserve it. These are our brothers and sisters. And for anybody that is going to put together a foundation or even has a foundation that is going to be seeding blessings to Haiti and regarding the toiletries, the water, the food, and all the things they need, please let Positive Vibes know because I am open and willing to donate or participate and also just give whatever we can here at Positive Vibes to the organization that is sending care packages over to Haiti. They truly deserve it. Not just deserve it, but we should just do that. Those are our neighbors. So I want you guys to be open to share some of what you have with those in Haiti and make sure that it's a reputable organization that is giving the funds and also the resources to Haiti, and they are in need right now and not anyone else. I want you guys to keep them lifted in prayer, keep the babies, keep the children lifted in prayer because they truly need it, and also keep the men lifted in prayer as they still try to hold the ground of their families tight during this disastrous moment as they are trying to live their lives. But you know what? We have a great God. We serve a great God. So with that said, let me get ready to move on our guest, Marlon. We're doing this just a little bit earlier, but we'll just talk and we'll have some fun until we get the recipients that we want on here. And I hope he's ready. I don't think he's chewing peanuts. He's ready. I think he's ready. We're going to bring Marlon on and we're just going to be talking and we'll go as long as we can. Welcome my guest, Marlon Weir. Hold on, let me turn this down real quick. Hey, Marlon, did you hear me talking about you?
I did. Hi, Trey. How you doing?
Hope it was good talk.
For sure. Facts. I'm so happy to be on Positive Vibes and excited to talk to you today.
So, Marlon, let's talk about you and all the great things that you're doing. Who is Marlon?
Okay, so I think we're starting now. So, hi everyone, Positive Vibes audience, and Trey, thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to be on Positive Vibes and to talk about all things what's going on with me and what we're up to. So, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. So this is pretty much, we were going to go on at 10:30. However, we're just going to go in. First, we're going to talk about, we're about 5 minutes early, which is great. Early is better than being late.
Facts.
But we can go as, we can go as long. I know the hour is very different from where we are in the U.S. Actually, what time is it over there where you are right now?
It's almost 4:30 here, p.m.
Well, that's not too bad.
Welcome to the future. It's like we're always in the future.
That is so awesome. So we were talking about health foods, Marlon. When you're in Rwanda, in the motherland, tell us about some of the good foods that are in the motherland that you've been consuming.
Oh boy, yeah, everything is really fresh here. The nature of it all reminds me of where I was born, Jamaica. In that, fruits here are on trees. So literally there's avocado trees and what feels like everyone's yard and they fall off into your hand kind of thing. The local market ladies always have fresh produce, be it tomatoes, cucumbers, fruits, your citrus fruits, or what have you. It's a very, very green and lush place Rwanda is. And also there's even two rainy seasons. So when people ask me like, okay, when is not rainy season? I'm like, well, the better question to ask,
when are the raining seasons?
Well, most of the year. So we have about 3 months of like not rainy season. But the rest of the time you can expect it to probably rain at least once a day, if not every other day.
Wow. Well,
but it's a good thing, like I said, because
it's good for the crops, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's a good thing. Yeah, we welcome it.
So are there a lot of vegetarians there in Rwanda? I'm saying you're a vegetarian, but there's there a lot of me because to be honest with you, if I were there, I probably would be a vegetarian. I probably would just be eating fruits and vegetables. I probably wouldn't even eat meat again.
Yeah. Good question. I don't think I have the answer to that. I've been out with a American friend here, and the way that she was asking for things at the restaurant, she seemed very picky. And I was like, just let him be. Like, she's all like, can I get some almond milk and some like this special kind of cheese? And the guy's like, no, don't have that. Nope, don't have that.
Oh, wow. So tell me about the markets there. Well, before we get into the Afrikanet, I want to get into Afrikanet at 10:30 because I know you have a lot of people that are going to be tuning in from Africa and Rwanda regarding Afrikanet. So, this is just our little pre-show here that people are doing in addition to what we really came on here to talk about. Tell us about the markets.
So when you say the markets, you mean like for shopping?
Yes.
Yeah. So like they have mainly like small community markets, but then you also have the large ones that attract hundreds of people. Now with COVID, it's a bit less and very controlled in terms of the movement of people in and out of the markets. But you can find anything, like literally anything in these markets. Like when I think about, let's say, like a supermarket in America, and you would go to the vegetable and meats and fish aisle, and there's a decent selection. But here I really find there's just about every kind of fruit or vegetable that you can think of.
Speaking of the pandemic, how has the pandemic affected you out there in Rwanda? How is that affecting you guys out there?
Yeah, it's affecting us like the rest of the world, obviously. But I would say that through good governance and a bit of using the old noggin, Rwanda has figured, well, our hospital system isn't going to be able to manage 12 million people being sick at the same time. So let's put things in place, such as curfews, certain hours, such as social distancing, mask wearing outside, and these things. So I would say that it's definitely working. Our numbers are they're insignificant when we think about places with large numbers, such as the States, such as India, France, some other large countries. So here, people listen really well as well. I'll say that too. I feel like, and it could just be me, but I feel like from my observation that it's like a team thing. Like we are going to beat this together.
Absolutely.
And like from the young people to the older people, everyone follows the rules usually. And if there's a curfew on, then they like go inside and finish their business in a good time. In general, listen to the protocols that the government has put forward. And I need to say this as well, like like in like the U.S., whereas like we might depending, I guess, if you're a Republican or a Democrat or black, depends who you're going to trust, right? Here, I'd say for the most part, people trust their government, and they can see, whereas the Rwandan leadership is looking out for their best interest.
Awesome. Well, this is the hour for Afrikanet. Let's get to it now. What is Afrikanet?
Okay. Welcome, everyone. So I'm the founder and CEO of Afrikanet. I also have two co-founders, and Afrikanet is a destiny project. And when I say destiny, I really feel like I was instilled with the passion and drive to do this from like just like a call it the universe, let's say, for lack of a better word. But with the Pan-African vision, I just really saw that the only way to really enhance and facilitate certain things that Africa needs, as well as to virtually repatriate the global diaspora of African descent, which if you're black, you are African diaspora, whether you like want to say it or not.
Right?
Well, like some people don't even know. Like some people don't realize that's what diaspora means, and they're like, oh, well, I don't have any direct family, etc. But it doesn't matter how many generations, even 200, 300 years separated you are African diaspora, and Africa is your home. So I saw that to really bring this message to more people in the shortest amount of time and really have it be sustainable and grow these bonds that we aim to build and be a bridge is through technology. Like when you think about what Facebook has done for the world, for instance, which just started in 2004. Some of us may forget, or some of us may even be too young to even realize that it hasn't been around forever. So they've been able to bring the world a lot closer. Mm-hmm. Whereas even certain countries that we might have thought were mortal enemies, like Palestine and Israel, for instance, they might not like each other, but both of them use Facebook, and right. Both of them see each other's activities on Facebook, etc., and realize that, hey, you know what? A lot of this is probably propaganda. Sure, some of it might be true in terms of the conflict, but a lot of it's propaganda, whereas now a young Palestinian and a young Israeli can actually be friends, online and say, oh, wow, you're just like me. You have the same hopes and dreams and all these things as I do, So it kind of like really exposes our humanity across the board without the middleman, again, propaganda machine in between. And that's what we aim to do with Afrikanet. We aim to provide a safe space for Africans the world over to be able to communicate, collaborate, trade, invest, travel, and otherwise engage with each other. Quite simply, Afrikanet is the all-in-one culture shifting platform for us. I joke with my partners all the time that we're like the FUBU of technology. For us, by us. And I do applaud like other platforms that have been popping up recently. Let's say like probably since 2019 into 2020, even stronger with the George Floyd situation. Whereas by and large, Black people the world over are realizing and verbalizing that we need our own digital spaces. We need to control our own information, and we need to be linked and connected. Just like how I explained earlier, what Facebook did for the world with no particular target. We have a specific target market of Africans and the global diaspora of African descent, which, by the way, combined, that's an audience of that's a potential audience of over 1.6 billion people.
Wow.
Largely untapped. Like there's nothing else that's looking to unite continental Africa and the diaspora. So if you want to call that our USP, for sure that is one of them. And the other really strong USP that we have is that we combine several services into one platform. So we call it a closed technological ecosystem, whereas you wouldn't need to leave the application for anything. If you want to send messages, you can do it inside Afrikanet. If you want to shop e-commerce, you can do it inside the app. If you want to upload things that maybe like you have an old mobile phone that you want to sell, there's also a consumer marketplace as well that you can C2C with each other. Find jobs, find a place to live, and make friends in various African countries and vice versa. Those people in the various African countries making friends with diaspora that are dispersed across the world. So
jobs in Africa. All these things are in Africa. They're talking about like finding jobs in Africa.
Right. So yes, the services element of it, we're looking to focus on Africa. However, there is a cross border exchange, if you will, and even cross ocean exchange, I guess you'd say. Whereas we're encouraging diaspora to link with their African counterparts and discover opportunities, create friendships, create business relationships. Who knows? Find a significant other. Like stranger things have happened, right?
I'll be there. I plan on coming there in the next couple of months too. Once everything settles down just a little bit. Now, quick question I have. You may not have this answer, however, it just popped in my head regarding travel because of the pandemic. If you're in the United States and traveling to Africa, do you know the protocols it is, for traveling? You have to be vaccinated. I mean, I know some airlines, I think, you have to be vaccinated to get on them. How does that work for one U.S. going to Africa?
Sure. It's different in different countries. I definitely couldn't read you the play-by-play in terms of up-to-date guidelines on each country, but for Rwanda, visa is on arrival for U.S. citizens, so you can just rock up in Kigali, which is the capital city, and pay your visa when you arrive. And that's usually good for 30 days. When I first came, I got a what's considered an East African visa, which would allow me to go to 3 countries. Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya. So you could do that as well, which you can get for a much better value. Because if you travel that far, it is very good to see more than one country. Mm-hmm. Usually you need like a yellow fever certificate, which is even saying it out loud sounds super old school. Like I'm saying like polio certificate or something, but it's just something that's been required for a long time. However, when I came in 2020 last year, no one asked me for it because everyone's thinking about COVID right now. So it kind of shows you what priorities are as well. It's like, oh, what happened to that thing that everyone was saying that we needed? Oh, don't worry about that. Where's your COVID paper? So you definitely do need a current negative COVID test. Vaccine is not necessary to travel to Rwanda, but you need the negative COVID test. And when you arrive, they put you in a hotel that's considered a COVID hotel, and you take another test when you're there before you're allowed to explore and discover the country.
Do you mean COVID-free hotel?
Yeah, they call it COVID hotel because like these are designated hotels that have a doctor on premises that can administer the test, and then it comes back within 24 hours. So it's actually very convenient, and obviously keeps people safe.
Now, just off the top, and then we're gonna discuss Pan-Africanism because a lot of people don't know what that means. Let's talk about that, and then we're gonna go back to traveling to
Sure.
Rwanda, and also what made you choose the Middle East. So
Sure. Quite simply, Pan-Africanism is support for Africa. Pan meaning all, Africa, obviously the continent. So you can be pan anything. You can be pan South American or Pan American. It's I'm sure you heard of the Pan American Games. That means all America Games. So pan just means all, and Africa is Africa. So this is the belief that Black people globally should be united, whether physically or at least through that mental connection that we do share a common ancestry and culture, no matter how we've been separated by time and space. Mm-hmm. So yeah, quite simply that, and I'm sure the audience would know some well-known Pan-African thinkers of the past, including Marcus Garvey, mm-hmm. UNIA, Black Star Liner. They're in Harlem, including Kwame Nkrumah, who was the first president of Ghana. And Ghana was the first African country to gain their independence in the African independence movement in the late 50s, early 60s. And Kwame Nkrumah also actually went to Lincoln University, which is a HBCU. So shout out to the HBCU people listening.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marlon.
No, I was just going to mention that there's many others, as well. Like throughout that struggle, we can even argue that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, were Pan-Africans as well in terms of their thinking. So they might not have went as far as Garvey as to say back to Africa movement, but you can see it throughout their speeches and in the various things that they spoke about and stood for. Not just Black nationalism, but also like that idea that we as a people should be united first before seeking this common status within white America.
Well, I do know there is a flux of people that are moving back to Africa in this day and age. There's a flux. So for the people that are moving back over to Africa, how can Afrikanet benefit those that are in the United States that want to make their transition smoother? How can that help? I know you were talking about jobs, housing, and also probably even schools too. How can Afrikanet help?
Yes, great question. So first off, Afrikanet is in development. We are a startup and we're in early phase development. So there is also opportunity for the general public to invest in the application at this early stage, which I'm sure a lot of you might say this at least once a year when you hear about how much Amazon is worth, when you hear about how much Google is worth, how much Facebook is worth, etc. Oh, if only I knew back then, I would have invested $100 or whatever in that particular technology.
They're saying that. They are saying that.
Yeah. So we feel that confident that we are going to be that for our people, and we're having those opportunities now for investment. So now to your question, how can Afrikanet help the diaspora know more about what's going on in Africa? So as I mentioned, we have several mini apps that actually enhance and facilitate various societal needs. So one of them, for instance, is called Cityconnect, and within Cityconnect, you can see certain tools for knowing about the country. So whether that's what kind of currency is spent there, the population, the literacy rate, male to female ratio, schools that are around, and what kind of schools these are in terms of their curriculums, hospitals and health service in terms of capacity and how many, places to live, really every single level land to buy. You know, a lot of us don't know that Africa has so much land that is still available for purchase. And to be honest, like these countries, like they would want to work with us, you know, more so than let's say like the Chinese that are coming here heavily. You know, the ex colonial nations such as France and the UK and Portugal, etc. They've had boots on the ground for a long time. So I say that all to say that really it's a lack of knowledge, maybe in like most cases, of what's available, and how affordable it is, as well as what the cost of living and lifestyle is here in Africa. Because a lot of things that we hear about Africa in the States and in other parts of the West is really based on popular culture, which is not Black culture, popular culture and what they think about Africa in terms of Africa always needing something. But to be honest, all Africa really needs is to be left alone to be great. If Africa was allowed to be great, it would be great today.
Awesome. Now, quick, I just thought of something too. Now, I know because a lot of people don't know, and I know I don't know, and I'll be honest, I'll speak for myself. A lot of people don't know the currency exchange, how that works. Like someone could be watching right now and be sitting at home with about $5,000 or more and say, hey, I want to invest in Afrikanet. What money, and they want to invest in Afrikanet, and then they want to travel to Africa. Mm-hmm. So they want to know how much with the money that they have versus the money that they will need to travel to maybe rent a place, buy a place, buy some land. Is there going to be something like that you guys are going to offer on the Afrikanet platform?
Absolutely. That's one of the tools in terms of currency exchange, calculator, compass. You know, you'll never get lost, kind of thing, either physically or mentally in like everything that's going on to anyone that would be in a new space. The currency exchange, for instance, here in Rwanda, the money's called the Rwandan franc, and it's pretty much 1,000 to 1. So, excuse me, did I say that right? 100 to 1, 100 to 1. So like $1 US is 100 Rwandan francs.
Okay.
In that way. And, you know, each country is different. So like, you know, each country has their own currency and their own exchange rates and these things, but, Rwanda is not the best rate in the continent, but it's not the worst either. Far from it. So this is what's considered a you know, still developing country and economy, but Rwanda is doing so many things right. To be honest, I feel that it's the success story of Africa right now.
Absolutely.
If you all remember, you know, if you're old enough to remember, you know, the 1994 genocide that took place in Rwanda, and just that direct aftermath and fallout of people just like writing it off and saying, okay, this is going to be another failed state like Somalia, you know, for instance. But, you know, less than 30 years, I stand here today in Kigali as testament that it's a complete 180 that this country has done.
Wow.
And you have to credit the leadership. You have to credit the people themselves for actually having a big heart to reconcile, and want to work together to, you know, for the good of their country as well as for future generations. Mm-hmm. And that's been what's been going on. And I can say that I almost wish that the world would take classes on what Rwanda has done to turn it around, because so much of the world is in turmoil over beefs that are hundreds of years old, you know, or even decades old. That, if you think about Rwanda and how they've come back together as just Rwandans, there's not even tribes here anymore. There's not this tribe and that tribe. Everyone's Rwandan, period. And it's just a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see. Like they have community cleanup days once a month, whereas like everyone in the community cleans up each other's yard. Mm-hmm. And helps each other like to build various things. They have countrywide exercise day. So every Sunday, you know, like like a lot of the major streets are closed for people to run in the mornings, and literally everyone is running on the street. So it's a very healthy, like community as well. It's just a sight to behold, really.
Now,
And we kind of say,
Marlon. And now, as far as the health, I know you were saying there's going to be some things that's going to be there regarding on the app and regarding health. For
yeah.
people that want to move on to health. How now, as far as the health industry is out there, or is there a wanting for health? People that have health degrees and to help, within the hospital, or is there a wanting for that right now out there?
For sure. For sure, 100%. We want people with skills. Period. Skills. Period. I want to preface my answer with this. Marcus Garvey said that, when he was saying the whole Back to Africa movement, he said that, we don't want everyone, every Black person to move back to Africa, because a lot of you are worthless here, meaning in America, and you'll be worthless there. So really, we want people that are open-minded, patient, have a love for their people in general, right? And are going to be more so listening as opposed to speaking all the time, because here you really have to have patience. And when I say here, I mean in Africa in general, you have to have patience. You have to work with people. You have to understand a culture that you're coming into, even though the people might look like you. It's a complete different frame of mind in these things. So I just want to preface that. Now, in terms of professionals, yes, we all of Africa, not just Rwanda, but in all of Africa, we would love for professionals to come over, give up their time, give up their skills and knowledge to help to upskill what's happening here on the continent. And I guarantee you will get something out of it too. This is not a one-way relationship. It's definitely symbiotic. I've learned so much in the 1 year I've been here already. Wow. And I feel that I've completely changed, as well as grown as a person, as a man, as a Pan-African, as a global citizen, and that continues to happen every day.
Now I have one of my friends that are on. They're in the trucking industry. He has his own trucking company. How is it? How is the trucking industry out there? Are they standing in a need? Because I know there's going to be, because as it grows, there's going to be people needing to have things moved from place to place in the field of trucking. How is that? How would that work?
I would like to tell that brother, come over right now. You are needed. There is one company I know of called Kobo 360. Check them out, brother. KOBO 360, Kobo360.com, I believe. And what they do, they're pretty much the Uber for trucks in Africa. Wow. So they've made these deals that are cross-border deals to be able to ship things between countries. And then you as a as a trade person, you would hire this truck and the driver just to put your merchandise on there going to a specific place, and then they give you a price for it. So I know that they have X amount of trucks. They've even gotten investment, from the West as well, just understanding the huge scope and the huge potential for growth that market has. There's something called the African Continental Free Trade Area that just went into effect last year, which provides for the free movement of goods and people. Mm-hmm. So prior to this, Africa had been trading intracontinentally less than 10% of the time, meaning most of the finances going outside the continent, right? Which is just like remnants from colonialism. We have to understand the power of the brainwashing that was going on during that time and persists to this day. So this new trade agreement really makes Africa into the largest trading bloc in the world, larger than even the EU. So given that we fully take advantage and full use of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Africa could very well, I think estimates are expecting the GDP continentally to be raised to close to $2.5 trillion by 2030.
Wow.
So yeah, trucking and logistics is going to have a lot to do with that. So we would love for our people to be over here leveraging what's actually happening right now, because it is being facilitated and made easier for us to be able to do these kinds of things.
And Marlon, just to, because I know you don't know who the gentleman is, he's a good friend of mine. His name is Michael Knox. He owns his own trucking company. So he's on the team right now. Hopefully you guys will be able to you know, to interact and you know, to collaborate together, and how like he can make how you can make that happen. I don't know exactly where he is in his life or whatever, but I just know he's a good person. He drives trucks for a living, and know that this would be very good information for him to, if he wants to expound upon going to outside of the U.S. in regarding his trucking company. I know, and let me just say, let me reiterate this, you know, Marlon. A lot of people do things for a lot of different reasons, but I do. Positive vibes is not for Trelude. Positive vibes is a center point for people to interconnect with other people doing other things, and how they can utilize that. You know what I mean? It doesn't have anything with Trelude. I don't get anything out of it. It's just because this is where my heart is, and I like to see people be helped, and if I can help people any way I can, you know what I mean? I just wanted to make that disclaimer, because a lot of people do things for the reason so they can receive it. This is a giving moment for me. Positive vibes is forgiving people the opportunity to connect with people they wouldn't normally connect with. You know what I mean? Now, how is the now back to the conversation we were having about Afrikanet. Now, I know when you come to Africa, there's different dialects. You know what I mean? There's different languages. Is there going to be on the app some type of language translation type of thing?
Yeah. So Africa has over 3,000 tribal languages alone, and not to mention the at least 6 to 10 colonial languages, you know, including French, Arabic, English, Portuguese, Spanish, etc. So within the application, we know that language is one of the things that puts up these pseudo borders between ourselves, and we just assume that, oh well, we don't know what they're saying, so it has no merit, it has no value or like weight to it, or because this person can't speak English, they're not as intelligent as I am, for instance. And yeah, we really want to break out of that that belief, because it is definitely not true. So doing that through technology is going to be the easiest path. So we're working on a certain technology, whereas you'll be able to, you can type in your language. Yeah, like let's say you're speaking English to to a Swahili speaker. So you can type in your language and the person will receive it in Swahili, and vice versa. They can type to you in Swahili and you will receive that in English. Awesome. So that barrier will be broken down in terms of how we communicate with each other. Now, are we going to cover all 3,000 plus languages? No, that's not realistic. However,
yeah,
exactly. So we will be covering the big ones, you know, that already have what's called APIs, which is you know, technology that makes the back end of something open. So just like how you use Google Maps in various applications, but it's still Google Maps powering it, there's certain things like that for language as well. As we see, Google now has so many different languages, so we'll be able to leverage that while adding certain other big and widely used tribal languages here on the continent.
And you also have like the GPS systems and things like that go with it, you know, with, you know, people coming from you. I mean, I can imagine it could be just like a totally different country, totally different roads and things like that. Is it going to be a GPS too? Because I know me, for instance, I'll be the first one probably to get lost. Like, I don't know where I am, you know. And, you know, and then also let's talk about that, and then let's talk about the mobile services.
Sure. So when it comes to GPS and location, this is common across Africa. Like, there is internet here, guys. You know, don't worry. There is electricity here. There is running water, you know, and all these bits. So like, we use Google Maps as well. You know, like I use Google Maps everywhere, you know, for everywhere I go. So within Africonnect, we'll have an API back channel to a satellite system, whether it be Google Maps or any of the other ones. We will have that capability for people to be able to do location services.
Now let's get back to, I don't want to go too far. I know we went kind of deep into in things about Africa, but you know what? I want people to understand that, you know, it's doable. So now, what is the? Let's talk about what inspired you to move to Rwanda, to the Middle East. What inspired you to do that? I mean, that's a big step of faith. I mean, you just don't get up and say, "Hey, I'm going to move to Africa." You know, it's just
Yeah. So I'm sure some people caught the Freudian slip that you did there a couple of times, and the reason why Trey is saying Middle East is because that's where I lived before. So I went from the U.S. to Dubai, which is in the UAE, United Arab Emirates in the Middle East, and lived there for about upwards of a decade, so over 10 years, and got very Dubai is the kind of place that is very cosmopolitan. So it's like a bit like living in New York City, whereas in New York City you would meet people from all over the world, right? They all come to you. And that same experience happened to me in Dubai. Like people from all over the world came to me, and I started to discover various places in Africa, even though we were only 6 hours away, flying time, from Africa. But a lot of people from those countries were coming to the UAE for trading and education and various other reasons. So naturally, I made friends, with like-minded people. And found out about various cultures and countries, and I always felt like in my friend groups I was the one always bringing together people from various African countries.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were at like a social gathering, I would see that, oh well, those people are only talking with each other and those are only talking with each other. I'm like, why did this happen, like in my head? And when I tried to like say, hey, come on, we're all from Africa, my friend had pull me aside and say, this region is different than that region, and like this is why this and this is why that. So again, that was another reason for wanting to really pursue a technology that would help us to mitigate the divide caused by perceived differences. I'm not saying that there are no differences, but some are very perceived, and we are much more alike than we are different. I can definitely say that.
Wow. Now let's talk Afrikanet and how can one invest in Afrikanet? Let's talk about that. How we can get those investors.
Sure. So we always want anyone to know what they're getting into when we talk about investment. So myself personally, as well as my partners, we have daily investor calls with people from all over the world, and we would invite you to, number one, have a look at the website. Is it on the website? Yeah. So on the website, you'll see our email, and you can send us through, through an inquiry, which is hello@afrikanet.com. And then we can schedule a call together. We can share some more information that's not proprietary with you about the application and where we are so far, and what our mission and vision and goals are. And if you feel like that aligns with you yourself, as a person, because we're not just a company, we really want people to invest in the people. Not just the idea that, oh, this is going to make a lot of money, because to be honest, we're an impact business, and any business that solves a problem, which we feel like we solve a big problem, it's going to be profitable. It's going to be profitable anyway, but that comes after. Really, our key metric at the beginning is how many lives are we changing? How many people are we impacting? How many people are we bringing together? How many services are we enhancing and making better? So after that, we decide that, okay, great, this is something that you're interested in. The share value currently in what we call pre-seed stage, the share value is $1 per one share. And the minimum buy-in is 500 shares. So that equates to $500. So that would be the minimum for anyone to start investing at. And, people always ask as well, like, oh, can I, if I want to invest more, can I do that? Of course you can. Mm-hmm. And then the other question I get sometimes is, okay, well, can I invest some now and some at another time as well? Of course you can, as long as we're still in the same round, say pre-seed round, that share value will still be at what it is. However, if there's any savvy investors in your audience and have invested in companies before, they'll understand that when you reach another round, the value of the company is going to increase. Meaning if you invested in the first round, your investment now is worth X amount times how much it was worth before, which is the reason why you're doing what you're doing anyhow, right? To make a difference, let's hope, with the impact kind of businesses like ours, but as well, obviously make a return on investment.
And also, I will say this because I want to be very transparent. I did have that call with Marlon and the team, and it was truly an amazing call. There's so much more into it than you were discussing here today, because we want you guys to first put it in your hearts that you want to be a part of Afrikanet. The conversation was so deep. I was ready to get on flight like that Friday to go out there because of my young son, and because of what I do here in the United States, I was not able to do that. But however, I will be there very, very soon. Now, Marlon, I want
Come
you to
home. Come home. We got you. Come on home, Trey.
Oh, I said that from when I met you in the global broadcast
Yeah.
thing. So I'm coming. Trust me, I am. And but the passports have to be up to date. You have to make sure you have all that stuff. And the thing now is the time to get passports, because they're not on hold. You know what I mean? Like they were. We don't want for this traumatic thing to happen in the United States, and they put them on hold like they did back in 9/11, where people were able to renew their passports for like years.
Yeah.
People's passports had expired. Mine did, and I had to spend a whopping almost $500.
Wow.
Thank God that I was blessed by by someone doing that for me to get my passport renewed for 10 years. And I was just back in that was like last year.
I would definitely second that. Even if you have like young children, guys, get your passports current. Yeah, they would still be good for 10 years, and beyond just a possible shutdown of traveling services, which I read the other day that actually America is imposing whereas people have to have a vaccine if you're a foreign visitor to America. So not if you're an American citizen coming back, but if you are another country citizen visiting America, you have to have a vaccine. So for anyone that is concerned about those things, just keep up to date with the latest news on things. Right, exactly. This is an ongoing story, but it's just smart in general to have your travel documents up to date, like really up to date. Even if you have 1 year left on there, update it now.
Absolutely. Right? Now let's talk about, because people can get confused with passports versus visas. Let's talk about that. People, people just don't know they haven't traveled. It's been the pandemic, so people are not traveling. What's the difference between a passport and a visa for those who don't know?
Okay, so a passport is your travel document that allows you to leave your country and to enter into another country, right? The visa is specifically for being able to stay any amount of time in that new country. Okay, and there's various regulations and rules to visas depending on the country. Rwanda is, I want to say, one of only 2 countries in Africa that are open to every country in terms of people getting visa on arrival. So that's a very unique situation, and they actually intend on, in support of the African Continental Free Trade Area that I mentioned earlier, they intend on having visa-free to any African country, and then hopefully we're looking as repatriates, which we call ourselves, in terms of people that have come back to Africa to settle. We're hoping to make so much of an impact being here, a positive impact being here, that that's opened as well to diaspora globally. If you have African descent, then you should be able to travel to Africa for free.
Well, you know what, and also, the thing about that is too, people are there. So you said 30 days for the visa, right? Is it a possibility it could be over 30 days?
Yeah. You can get 60 days, and you can also renew. So yeah, that's possible. And as well, I am here now on an entrepreneur visa. So my entrepreneur visa is for 2 years, and that's renewable. So just based on the fact that I have a business here, the country really appreciates, people being here for fruitful purposes. Mm-hmm. So, if you come establish a business, which, again, I'm starting to listen to what I'm saying, and it's almost like a advertisement for Rwanda. But I'm here and for a specific reason. So it's I'm telling you guys these things because I've gone through them personally, and I want to share how easy it is do various things, here in Rwanda specifically. So, you can establish a company for $0 within 24 hours in Rwanda. You can get your visa within another 48 to 72 hours.
And how much does that cost? The visa on arrival, how much is that?
Visa on arrival is $50. And then for my entrepreneur visa, in terms of being able to stay here without having to, back and forth every month, that was $150.
That's not bad.
Mm.
Considering you're going out there to start a new life and to this, that's not bad at all.
Exactly. It's one of the lowest in the world. Like I can't even point to another one that like has zero fee to set up your business and that low in terms of visa, residency visa kind of situation. And there's various other kind of visas that you can get as well. Like for instance, if you're a retired person, over a certain age, and you can prove that you are getting regular income in your retirement, then you get a special visa here as well that you can just stay and not worry about having to go back and forth.
So tell us, Marlon, how when you went over there to Rwanda, how easy was it for you to get your apartment or your house, or how tell us about that?
Okay, so I had a little cheat button, whereas through my business, we had some interns before I even arrived. So I had my interns look for an apartment for me.
So they were your pre-Afrikanet, huh?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And but since I've been here on the ground, I've spoken to real estate people and seen various properties around, and it's not difficult. You just again, with everything in Africa, no matter where you go, you have to have patience. Mm-hmm. Systems are catching up, and institutions are getting stronger. That's another reason why we chose Rwanda, because it has very strong institutions. The same can be said for some other African countries as well. Everything is improving, so to speak, in various countries. We do always urge people to do your own research.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to answer questions for anyone. My WhatsApp number is even posted on my profile, like my social media profiles. I'm a very open person in terms of really acting as that bridge for us to know more about each other. I feel like my life experience at this point is a little bit of everything. Born in the Caribbean, growing up in America, living in the Middle East for over a decade, and now living in Africa. So, I mean, that's just about everything besides Asia.
Good question. Now the banking, and I'm thinking, and this, of course, I'm thinking this for myself too. Now for the banking, now is it a possibility that you have an American bank having money transferred over, or opening up an account in Rwanda and transferring monies over to Rwanda? So when you get there, you already have money made available when you get there.
Sure. Yes. So there are international banks here, as well as there's middleman companies. There's one really popular one here that my friends use, but I don't want to say the wrong company name, but pretty much what you're able to do is to move your money from this account to any foreign account. So not just Rwanda, but any other country, to be able to do that. So that service, I believe, is based in America, and they have international relations with most countries.
And for those who are nightlifers, how's the nightlife there in Rwanda?
Okay, so since I've been here, it's been COVID. So unfortunately, the clubs have been closed in terms of dance clubs. They've been closed, like I mentioned earlier, to mitigate the risk of anything. However, I've been told by my friends that the nightlife scene is very vibrant and healthy here and safe. That's another big thing I want to bring up about Rwanda. It's a very, very safe country. Matter of fact, one of the safest in the world, not just Africa, as well as one of the cleanest in the world. So I've been able to enjoy various things, even with COVID. Like The local bar, is open, and people socially distance, and it's fine. You can still meet people, have good conversations with people, and a bit of touristy things as well. I've been exploring the country as of late and visiting different regions of the country. I stay in the capital, which is in the center of the country, which is pretty convenient. So everywhere you need to go is just a branch out from that. Rwanda is just a beautiful, beautiful, naturally blessed place. I like to say, there's no bad views in Rwanda. Everywhere you look is going to be a beautiful mountainscape or lush green valley. If you're at the top of somewhere and looking down, it's a lush green area. There's just natural beauty around every corner.
Wow. Now, for those that may have missed the target audiences or target markets that you're looking for Afrikanet, can we touch on that before we end this broadcast?
Of course, yeah. So different than other applications, I would say that we are unabashedly Pan-African. Within the name itself, Africonnect, connect Africa, right? You see within that. And our target audience is continental Africa, which has a population of 1.2 billion plus people, and the global diaspora, which has a population of over 300 million people of African descent living outside of Africa. So that's why we say combined, that's close to 1.6 billion people. And that's the largely underserved target market that we look to empower and connect with each other. That's the key word throughout. And I'll share a little secret with you at this point.
It'll be a secret. It's going out to all these people throughout the world.
Exactly. Well, when I say with you, I mean to your audience. Okay. The Positive Vibes audience, because I'm feeling so warm and fuzzy inside from the positive vibes. We aim to make Africonnect a verb. So if you guys think about it, the way that we say Google now, if someone says, oh, how do you do this, or where do you find that? Everyone says Google it. So Google, from a company now, has become a verb, right? Whereas now it's part of everyday language and vernacular that we just use it so freely. Oh, just Google it. Or send me a tweet, right? A verb and others become a noun, right? So we aim to do the same thing with Africonnect, to have it be so much of a household name and that it's so beneficial and interrelated to people's lives and livelihoods that they will actually be saying, connect with me, send me a connect, right? Oh, connected kind of thing, right? So that's how high up that mountain we're looking to go. Because I do get the question often from some investors that, oh, what's your exit strategy? Our exit strategy is the redemption of Africa.
Absolutely. Nice. You know what I'm thinking, and this is just coming to me as we're speaking about the night. We talk about Africa, I get warm and fuzzy inside myself because that's a place that I always wanted to visit. However, I know as a mom and as a parent, we always think about our kids. How can our kids adapt if we come over?
Yeah.
We can come over to visit, but I'm thinking is it a possibility that there's going to be something where kids can get to know kids? Because of course, kids in America and kids in Africa are on totally different levels. And I'm not saying it as a negative I'm not saying it's a negative thing, but how can we interconnect the kids? Because if the kids connect, the parents are going to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with all the things that are going on in the USA with kids now. You know what I mean?
Mm. So I think the question is coming from a physical perspective, or you mean how does the application help to connect kids?
Yes. Is there, is there, and this is something, Marlon, you know how I work. These things are coming up, stirring in my spirit. I'm thinking about connecting kids.
Yes.
So, it's okay, because for instance, when you have your child and they're going to see their friend in Cleveland or something they haven't seen for you, they're excited. So how is it that, Africonnect can connect kids? So if they become friends via Africonnect, they're like, well, I'm going to go see my friend over in Africa. And then when they get there, the kid is already open to allow them to explore everything over there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay. So a couple things. the minimum age to use the application will be 14 years old, which is pretty standard with social media platforms such as Facebook and others. So 14 is pretty standard. There will be the ability to have parental controls within the settings, so the parents can actually control the kind of content or even the certain mini apps that that child is able to use. Mm-hmm. In terms of ability to have chat features and able to connect with each other, that is definitely going to be possible, from day one, anywhere in the world. So you can be there in the States and connecting with someone in South Africa or in Nigeria or in Kenya, it doesn't matter. And then, through your profile, we would encourage people to have as complete a profile as possible. Mm-hmm. So you do make real connections. We have certain security features, which is very important to us, security and data protection. We have certain security features inbuilt within the application that is going to encourage authentic users. I don't know if you know the stat, but like for Twitter, for example, they say that over 35% of the users on Twitter are bots, meaning fake profiles. And we're talking like hundreds of millions of profiles here. So imagine like that many people are just like phishing, spammers, or otherwise nefarious and ingenuine profiles, or even perpetrators, if you will, preying on young people. Mm-hmm. So those things are at the front of our mind as a business, and security and privacy is very important to us for our users, and to inform them of what's being shared and how they're being protected.
Awesome. Well, you know what, Marlon, I don't know. Can you see the feed on Facebook? Can you see that?
I'm actually just on. I'm on the back channel.
That's fine. I was just going to have you put up the information regarding the trucking information. If not,
well, I want the brother. You can feel free, because I know like you can type in there, right? You can feel free to put my WhatsApp number into the chat, and I'll verbally tell it to you, because I think you have my Dubai number. So I'll verbally tell you my Rwanda number, and anyone in the group, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions for you.
Let me do that.
Okay, okay, you ready?
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to do something different. What is it?
Sure. It's plus 250, country code 250.
I'll put equal. 250.
You got to put a plus, yeah. So plus 250 786.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 891 877. So again, plus 250 786 891 877. That's my WhatsApp number, available at any time for you guys to find out the real deal. Not just about Rwanda, but other places in Africa in general. Hey, look at me scrolling. I see it scrolling. I see you.
Sorry, your name is not properly capitalized, but it's there. 250-786-898-1877. That's it, right?
You did good. I'm good. I'm going to take a screen capture. Smile. Boom. That's so dope.
Well, you know what? Hey, I'm not going to hold you long. I know you have a lot of things to do on today. However, I'm so gracious to have you on the platform today. You can join us back anytime. Guys, invest in Afrikanet, because this is something that you're going to wish you did before. The person that seen the Amazon guy in his garage.
Facts.
Wish that they would have spent. I mean, it was like $1.
Think about it. From the garage to space. Now he's in space. Started in his garage, and now he's in space. Come on, guys. Don't we want to see one of us in space? Aren't we tired of like looking at all these things and just saying that, oh, look at that. Look what they're doing. And do you know most of that spaceship is built with materials from Africa? Even. So we're quite literally building the world's technology, but we're not benefiting directly from it. And that's what Huh?
And not investing in it.
Right, and not investing in it. So I'm not saying everyone has to be a scientist, but at least make smart decisions for yourself and your family and the next generation. Whereas we start to create generational wealth, and trust me, Africa is the best place to do it. Like some of you guys have probably heard like the Akon interview where he says that Africa is the only place for a Black person to invest and within 5 years be a multimillionaire. And I've seen.
I didn't want to bring that up, but since you did, I'm speaking of Akon. He's getting ready. He's building some things out there as well, right?
Yeah. So he has a project called Akon City, and that's going to be in Senegal, where he's from, as well as I saw that they're expanding that to East Africa, to I believe Uganda, as well, that he got some land in. So there's a lot of positive things happening, guys, that I want you to take note of. Even Rick Ross, the popular rapper, Rick Ross invested, I think they said $2.5 to $3 million in Tanzania recently. Naomi Campbell, the actress, she's bought a house in Kenya. So like these things are happening, guys. Like when you start seeing the celebrities, popping up here and there, you must know that other people are underneath that. And I'm sure you guys heard about Stevie Wonder, that even though he can't physically see, he sees a lot more than a lot of us do. Stevie said, "I'm moving to Ghana," in an Oprah interview. Oprah said, "Why, Stevie?" And Stevie's like, "For my kids not having to feel like less than a person." Because like her comment was more so like, "Stevie, you have everything. Everyone loves you, Black, white, whatever." And he's like, it's not about me. It's about future generations actually having self-confidence and self-belief in a place they don't have to fight just to be themselves in terms of like just a skin color.
Well, you know this, Marlon. You may not know. Of course, you're bringing up all these things, and I'm just pulling energy from you while I have you at a good hour. Tell me now, for instance, if you may not know this, and you may, you're a very smart guy, and I'm sure you probably do know this. What is the average? Obviously, the average of a 3-bedroom house out there in Rwanda. You can give it to me in U.S. or you can give it to me in.
Yeah. Good question. It depends on the area. I would give a very wide range to say that on average between. Actually, you know what? I have my friend here with me right now. Hold on, bro. What do you think? What do you think it is for a 3-bedroom house? Range.
3-bedroom.
To buy, not rent. So to own.
Tell them we're not renting. Come over there, we're buying.
Between depending on the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Between 50,000 USD and 100,000 USD.
Yeah. What do you think? The high end is though.
The high end would be around 100,000 USD.
Wow. he said between $50,000 and $100,000.
Well, that's not bad at all.
What do you mean not bad at all? That's amazing. For a 3-bedroom house. Yeah, and I've seen places here that are immaculate, Trey. Immaculate.
Now, let me tell you something. I have a friend who
would be the queen that you are.
One of my friends is her husband's from Ghana, and their house is purchased, and the land that they have, I'm not going to give the names, but it's humongous.
Yeah, as well as land. Yeah, for sure. You can
house and land.
Yeah. Exactly. So like when we think about opportunities, there's so many things to invest in and even partner in. Whereas maybe a factory maybe running already and needs some extra equipment to double their profits or triple their profits, and the investment amount is just that. So that's another thing that through Afrikanet we'll be able to provide credible information through a trusted source, right, that understands you and understands the continental Africans, to be able to put you guys together. So again, we're acting as that bridge, that escrow, if you will, for us to be able to communicate with each other, invest with each other, travel, and trust each other. And I want to say something about travel before I go.
Okay.
There was a recent summit between CARICOM, which is the Caribbean community, so all the Caribbean islands, and African Union, whereas various African presidents were on the call as well. And one of the prime ministers in the Caribbean, the Barbados prime minister, she actually described to the T of what Africonnect is about. She said, we need a platform, a digital platform like this. And when she says we, she means Africans globally.
Mm-hmm.
She said, we have so much to offer to each other. And because we haven't talked for so long, we might not know these things. But the various pain points each of our nations face, we can help each other with these things, as opposed to having our bowl out, asking for aid from, European Union and US aid and, all these other Western organizations, NGOs, I guess, if you will. I'm sure your audience knows, like you definitely know that, like Black Americans alone, spending power is over $1 trillion per annum. So we need to start making that part of our ownership power, not just spending money. That's not impressive anymore. Your gold teeth and your rims and your, whatever you might think is like a status symbol. It's not impressive. What do you own? So Africa is really the place that you can own something. And we're not expecting everyone to pick up and like run over here, but at least do smart investments, whereas you can pass this down to your children and say, hey, we have land in Ghana. We have land in Rwanda. We have a business running in Kenya. They give us X amount of revenue every month for a fraction of the cost.
No, I'm sorry. What are the best times to visit Rwanda?
Rwanda, like I mentioned about the rainy seasons. But right now it's not raining. It hasn't rained all day. Actually, it's been a beautiful day, and this is a beautiful way to.
Right here where I'm at yesterday, so hey, whatever.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. So because you knew you were going to talk to me, I sent it your way. You're welcome. But yeah, a good time to visit Rwanda would be, December. Bro, when would you say the best time to visit? That you can like do the most things.
Rwanda?
Yeah, without rain and.
Between July and September.
Okay. My friend's actually in tourism, so he's a very good source. He says between July and September is the best times to visit.
What's the temperature around? What's the temperature around then?
Temperature around then is let's see, Fahrenheit. Let's say between 70 and 85.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I can only speak for myself. It wouldn't even matter to me if it was like 80 degrees, 90 degrees. I could do that.
It gets there some days. Actually, like what they say about Rwanda is that it's perpetual spring. So it's spring all the time. It never gets too cold, and only occasionally is it like 85 or more. Like, pretty rare. So it's usually just like a very calm spring with rain here and there.
Nice. Well, let's share. We're going to close this out, Marlon. What's some positive vibes you want to send out to those who are watching, and also how they can come to invest in Afrikanet? Because I know I am truly in favor of everyone doing that.
Oh, you're with us. You're with us already, sister.
Amen.
You're with us, sure. So, some closing thoughts are just number one, thank you for supporting my sister Trey, which she does an amazing show. It's Positive Vibes, and every time I've seen her or spoken with her, she's always full of positive energy and something to add to people's lives. So I definitely believe in what you're doing here, Trey, and love to support your program whenever I can by watching and sharing with other people. Then in terms of Africonnect, please check us out online. We have a website up that really just gives some base level information, because again, a lot of it's proprietary as we are not launched yet, but it's Africonnect.com. I think later on, maybe when Tracy posts this, she'll post my information as well. So it's spelled with K's, Afrikanekt.
It's on your screen, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So Africonnect.com. And again, my WhatsApp number is there. I encourage you guys to use that. Go ahead and give me a shout. You can also find me on LinkedIn just by my name, as well as Africonnect on LinkedIn, our company page, which tells more about the company. We believe in transparency, so we want to be as open as possible with you to understand about the opportunity and what we're aiming to do here on the continent as well as globally. And I guess maybe last thing is to use the now famous words of Burna Boy's mother, who said that before you were anything else, always remember you were African first.
I like that. I like that. Well, look, Marlon, you have an amazing Friday. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to your friend who's the tourist in the background. Tell him I'll need to get with him so when I'm ready to come over, we'll be ready.
I will for sure. Oh yeah, one more thing. Happy birthday to all the September birthdays, especially the Libras, end of September. It is my birthday on Monday, and I'm celebrating all weekend. So, I give your boy some positivity out there. And,
I see you out there dandying, huh?
Huh?
I see you out there dandying.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, I'm just feeling good, Trey, and like enjoying life, really, and having a peace of mind that I haven't had maybe since I was a kid. Like not having a grown up responsibilities and such, but like in terms of like adult life, like this is it right now. I have peace of mind. I can just be another human existing in the world as opposed to, careful, you're in this kind of space or these people around or, et cetera. Like we all know about code switching and these things. Mm-hmm. No need for that in Africa. You just be you. Be your beautiful Black African self. Okay. And that's really what I want to, leave you guys with. And again, feel free to reach out to me. Appreciate you.
Awesome. You know what, Marlon, like I said, it's truly a pleasure, a blessing to be in your space out there in Rwanda. I feel like I'm there already. You see me dressed in my little gear here. I can't, I'm going to head back to lunch. But you know what? Like I said, you're always welcome to come on the show to let us know what's going on with Afrikanet. For those who want to invest in Afrikanet, Afrikanet.com is the website. His number, his WhatsApp number is there. I want you guys to consider, if you don't invest in anything else, invest in yourself and invest in your families and the legacy of your future. This is the way. This is the beginning. All right, my friend, you take care. God bless you.
Peace and love.
All right. God bless. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was Marlon Weir with Afrikanet. What an amazing interview about Afrikanet.com and how you can be a part of investing in such a great app that can teach you everything you need to know about when you're transitioning over to Africa, as well as the app that's going to teach you how to can teach you where to live, how to live, and also the resources. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to be a part of this amazing opportunity, and you heard it here first on Positive Vibes on this day, September 24th of 2021. Let's invest today. Have an amazing day. Get ready to ride up out of here. Actually, we're going to have maybe some music a little bit later, but I'm getting ready to get out of here, have a speaking engagement to get to. However, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Mike, Mika, also, Mika, it's time to go to Africa. You ready, girl? I see you just popped up there. It's time to get ready to go to Africa. Mike, I hope that this information is going to do your trucking company well, and I will definitely give the information over to my brother. Happy Friday, everyone. I think it's time for some music. We've had a great time here on the show. However, I'm going to end this so I can close this out with our friend Marlon Weir out there in Rwanda. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And my apologies again for not being able to be available on last Friday for Positive Vibes. However, it's a new day. We're gonna make it happen. Enjoy your Friday. Live today as if it was your last. God bless you. Don't hurt anyone. It's all about love. God is love. Talk to you soon.